everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Roundup with Dan Oneil, powered by our friends at RCG Mortgage. If you are an agent and you have a Save Me deal, if you are a buyer looking to get pre-approved, find out how much you can afford, definitely reach out to Andrew Russell and Evan over at RCG Mortgage. Thank you everyone for listening last week. One of my favorite episodes I had on Vinny Martino. It was packed with tons of knowledge, tips, just 20 years of hard work. It was a really great episode, so thank you everyone for the feedback. This has been the probably best month so far for me. I just started my own team, the Oneil team over at Coldwell Banker in Smithtown, and everyone was telling me, just be careful of, losing a little bit of your business, trying to focus on the team. And I'm happy to say that I've put 10 houses under contract this month, and it's only halfway through September. So with that being said, today is one of my favorite people in real estate, somebody that I work very closely with, somebody that has taught me a ton in my 2 years in the business, somebody that I look up to and respect very much, one of the hardest working guys in real estate, the man of the year, Mr. Asaf German.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on, I appreciate it.
An honor to be here.
Yeah, so this guy's definitely one of the hardest working guys in the business. We were outside of the parking lot and he's already on the phone, he's already making calls, so. I think that you are definitely a larger than life character in this business, and you don't get that way without working hard. So how did you kind of get into this business? Where did you start? How old were you? You just dive right in.
I was given a God-given opportunity when I came out of school with a college friend. At the beginning of the real estate boom in 2003, 4, a friend of mine had a lot of bank closings. He said, Asaf, you can work with me and for me as a bank attorney. I said I would honor the opportunity. I said, what is a bank attorney? Just like everything else in life, what you learn in school, what you learn in real life is not always the same.
Yeah.
I was thrown right into the fire, right out of law school, doing about 80 closings a month. I aligned myself with amazing individuals who are smarter than me, and I seized the opportunity. So to me, it was a combination of right place, right time.
How old were you?
I was 24 years old.
Okay.
24 years old. So it was a combination of right place, right time, a friend from college, and seizing the opportunity.
So when did you kind of, you're doing 80 bank closings, when did it kind of turn into was it right away where you were seeing results, where you were starting to get, successful, you're doing more and more and more, kind of building your own name, or were you just kind of?
Well, when I came out of school, I worked for my friend. And after approximately 2 years, I went about and opened my own practice. But I'm always blessed for the opportunities I'm given with him. He's still a dear friend of mine. I still work alongside of him right now.
Really?
Yeah, well, he
Awesome.
gave me an opportunity in life. There's more than enough business to go around for everyone.
Yeah.
He looked out for me. I will always continue to look out for him. And about 2 years into it, I opened my own practice. We still worked alongside each other.
So you opened your own practice at 26?
Yes.
Wow.
I was very fortunate. I was fortunate with an opportunity. I took a risk in myself. The way I look at life is the only way I'm going to fail is if I personally fail, and I won't let that happen.
And you grew up with literally nothing. So you're 24, 25, 26 years old. Now you started to make your own money. You're opening up your own practice.
Yeah, I grew up with nothing. I was born in another country. We came here as a little boy. I was born in Israel. My family very simple, hardworking people. My father was a cab driver, but he instilled these values and work ethic with me, and I've always been this way since I was a little child.
When you were doing these bank closings when you were 24, 25, 26, were you still adapting? You wake up at 4:30 every morning, 4 o'clock, you're in the gym, you're making phone calls, you're doing this, that, the other. It's interesting to hear, guys like Brian Karp who, adapts that same kind of mentality. I'm up at 6 a.m. and I think that that's kind of crazy. And the only reason I do that is because of you, is because I don't want you texting me and saying good morning and I'm already, I'm half asleep. So, did you always kind of have that? Were you always up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Was that?
I've always been a morning person.
Really?
Growing up with nothing, when I was younger, growing up in Brooklyn, I delivered newspapers.
Wow.
And delivering a newspaper required you to wake up early. So I woke up early. I was walking around the streets of Brooklyn in a shopping cart, delivering papers, crack of dawn. So I've been like that since I was a little boy. I didn't wake up one day and decide to be this. It was just that's just me.
Yeah. So you're 26 years old, you opened up your own practice. At what point was it, I mean, you had to have put in a ton of hours, ton of work. I mean, especially at that age.
Tremendous amount of work.
I'm 25 right now, and I find myself putting in 70, 75, 80 hours a week, but I enjoy doing it. So you obviously have to enjoy what you're doing, and I know that you love helping other people as well. So, I mean, when was it, I mean, I guess, how long into it was it until you finally started seeing some, like, real results with the practice?
My own practice, immediately, because I had that foundation of the volume and the people around me, and immediately,
Yeah.
thank God.
So I was going to ask you in one of my little notes was kind of about how you've surrounded yourself with the best people. You have the best paralegals, you have the best team at your office. Stacy, Dina, everybody at your office is the best in the business. So was it right away when you were 26 years old that you opened your practice? Did you get these people, or was it just over time?
Just like anything else in life, it's very easy to find people. It's very, very hard to find amazing people.
Yeah.
When you find amazing people, you never let them go. Whatever it is that you have to do. In my humble opinion, my staff is the best of the best, without a doubt in my mind. How long did it take? It took about 20 years to find.
Jeez.
To be blessed with the opportunity to have the staff that I have. How did I get them? A lot of different ways. I met with a lot of different people. I weeded out the average. Some of them right place, right time. Some an opportunity. Some through my reputation. And together, we have put together what we put together. But I attribute some of my success toward them, because this wouldn't be possible without them.
Yeah, Karen Hendricks tells a story about how it would be like a Saturday afternoon. Everyone that knew you before, now, like I said, you're this larger than life kind of, real estate character, which is amazing. You built this for yourself. You should be extremely proud and happy, about it. But she was telling me stories about how you used to come into the Coldwell Banker office, with your kids in your hand on a Saturday afternoon. You're you're talking to people, asking about open houses, this, that, the other. So it's not kind of just like you woke up one day and you just built this entire empire. You really had to put some serious time in.
I built this through old school, nose to the ground hard work. Actually, I love what I do. I used to bring my children on the weekends to do contract signings. If I had to now, although they're a little older and they might be on their iPad while I'm doing it, I would still do it with a smile. Listen, we provide a service.
Yeah.
Just like you provide a service. Why are they going to use me when there are so many other real estate attorneys? Why are they going to use you when there are other real estate professionals? You're going to set yourself apart through your service, your experience, your results, your work ethic, your integrity. Yeah, I did it. I spent many weekends at my office or at real estate offices conducting contract signings with a smile.
Yeah. And that's something you have to do to separate yourself. Just like you said, there's a million real estate attorneys, a million real estate agents. You kind of have to go above and beyond. And it's nice now because now you're at a point where you have this team, where you have Dina, Stacy, you have everybody that you can trust and kind of, maybe not do these weekends anymore and kind of put stuff on them where, everyone's, that all of your clients, all of your agents are going to be in really good hands. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about so I know I mentioned the 4 a.m. thing, the waking up early, getting the phone calls out of the way. What does your daily schedule look like?
I usually wake up about 4:15. I try to hit the gym. If I have a very, very busy morning work-wise, I'll go to the office first and to the gym after. I just feel like when I wake up early, I'm very productive. I get a lot of work done before the phones are going off, before all the emails are going off, and I can negotiate my contracts. I can finalize my contracts. I can send out my emails. That way, when everyone else in our industry is waking up and getting to work, I'm done, and now we're waiting on them, and we can just follow up with them. I just feel very productive when I wake up in the morning. I get a lot of work done. Imagine you had a couple of hours every day without a phone ringing or an email. How productive, and time is the most precious commodity. I'm all about using my time wisely and working smarter as opposed to necessarily harder.
I literally adapted that from you. I used to wake up, not like late by any means, but 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, whatever. Now, if I'm at my office by 7 o'clock, before the phone starts ringing, before these fires start going off, when you're spending your entire day just putting out fires, now I can get the 2 hours out of the way of BS that I need to. So by the time that 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock rolls around and all these agents start calling me, the buyers, clients, whatever, now I'm already ahead of the game. And I honestly, I learned that from you. And I've definitely learned a lot from you. We were texting last night, just your mentality with everything. You be good to other people, do right by everybody. Don't do wrong by anybody. Always work hard, put the time in. These are some of the things that, and surround yourself with good people. These are all things that I truthfully have learned from you. I don't know if you remember. I remember the day that I called you when I found you. I think I just got my license a couple months. I was losing deals left and right from an attorney that I was using because I don't know if the guy was semi-retired. He was golfing 6 days a week. It was just, I didn't know any better, but it was just the one real estate attorney that I did know at the time. And I was having some success, but I lost like 3 or 4 deals, and this was in my first couple months. And when you don't have a lot of money, losing a couple deals is a big deal. So you never want to lose any deal, and thankfully, knock on wood, I have not since I started using you, and I haven't lost any deals. But at that time, I was just so miserable. I wanted to quit. I literally had no money. It was just a bad time. And I remember I saw you on like Jason Fenari's Facebook. I saw you on Beth's Facebook. I saw you on Chris, Mr. Cash Buyer's Facebook. So I was like, you know what, F it, let me call this guy, see what he's about. And I think I reached out to you via Facebook, man, and you literally called me within like 2 seconds. Like you literally called me within 2 seconds. I was walking into an appointment. We spoke. You were like, listen, I'm going to take your business to the next level. Like I would cherish the opportunity to work with you. And since then, I mean, we've done a billion deals together. Nothing has ever not closed. All my clients continue to refer me, which is why I think I'm starting to get these referrals now where I don't need to go door knock every single day. I don't need to do the 4-7 my owner and expires because I built such a good team with you, the lenders that I use, the inspector that I use, that people just continue to refer me because they know that it's the dream team. And that's your saying.
I'm grateful for that day where you called me. Yeah.
And truthfully, so I mean, I've had instances where, people are always, oh, we don't know what we want to use, how much does it cost, this, that, the other. A couple weeks ago, you were in Greece, and I literally texted you, and I was like, listen, I have somebody that's on the fence about using you. Can you call them? And I didn't know you were in Greece at the time. You fucking called them. This guy's in Greece and in Mykonos, calling my seller. Like, what the hell?
With a smile.
Yeah, what's up?
Well, you gotta have to keep in mind that every deal is very, 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 very important.
Yeah.
One, you don't know who that person is. You don't know who that person knows. And it trickles down, because if you do the right thing by that client, the next thing you know, you're going to be referred to his neighbor, his friend, his cousin, and that trickles, and it turns into a spider web of referrals. So every deal is very, very important. I mean, I've represented clients that refer to me that have led into many. The biggest referral source I ever got in my life was through a client where I barely made any money. He was a police officer.
Really?
Police officers and firefighters are a very, very, very tight group.
Yeah.
I came out of school. I had a young police officer come up to me. I don't know if I ever told you this story.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Asaf, can you be my attorney? Oh, by the way, I don't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
So as a police officer, an NYPD police officer specifically for this program, I could either get a free attorney, which my realtor said don't use the free attorneys, or I get a voucher, or I would be paying you about $600. So I just came out of school. If he only would have known, I would have done it for free. I was just grateful for the opportunity to be his lawyer.
Yeah.
So he looked at me as if I was his hero.
Yeah.
He said, oh my God. And I looked at him as if he was my hero because he gave me an opportunity to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Long story short, he went back to work. He worked at the 75th precinct, the biggest precinct in New York City by officer side.
Wow.
He put a big bulletin board in the cafeteria that said anybody who buys a house must use Asaf German.
That's really cool.
Throughout the years, it spread like wildfire, and today I represent more police officers than anyone else on the island because I did one good thing for one person, one time, and barely made any money.
Yeah. And they're a very close-knit group. It's a little bit of why I had some success. John McLevy, he's a detective, an arson detective for the, I think, 4th precinct. He had a for sale by owner, and when I first got my license, I was doing anything to get a listing, and he'll probably listen to this too, but whatever. So, I call him up and I go, I have a prospective buyer. So I bring my dad, and Asaf knows my father, but if you don't, he's just, my dad's a character. So
he's a good man.
Yeah, so I bring him up, like, listen, just please, you're a buyer, you don't know me, just please don't do anything. Don't be nosy, just shut up and walk to the house. So of course, we're on the appointment. First of all, he shows up in his Oneil and Welsh, landscaping truck. So I'm like, holy shit, it's on Edgewood in Smithtown. I'm like, this guy's gonna look out the front window and see this guy's truck, I'm dead. So not only does he just keep his mouth shut when he walks in the house, This guy's in the shower. He's like turning the hot water on. He's like checking the water pressure. He's in all the sinks. Like he's just going like he's hamming it up like way too much. So the seller, this guy John, who was a detective, finally just like peeks out the window, sees his truck, and he's like, listen, he's like, what is this charade, man? He's like, I know this guy's your dad. He's like, do you really have a buyer? I was like, listen, John, I just got my license. I don't have any buyers. I'll do the listing for, let's say 4%. I'll do it as a discount. Just please give me a listing. I promise I'll work hard. So he called me back a week later. It was me versus Brian Karp. I leave, or I'm pulling in. Brian Karp's face all over his car is pulling out. He's like, listen, I'll give you a listing, but you only have 45 days. So I don't know anything really, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go print out flyers. I'm going to go down to Stony Brook Hospital. I'm going to go down to Mather, St. Charles. I'm going to go put these all over the bulletin boards. I'm going to try and sell this beautiful $750,000 house to a doctor or somebody at the hospital. And it wound up working. I got him like 3 offers. He was extremely happy. I did it at 4%, which at the time I wish I didn't, but whatever. It was a discount. I took a little bit of a hit on it. And since then, he's given me probably 15 leads at least. And it's one after the next. In Smithtown now, Nassau County. Anyone and everyone that he speaks to, he gives me the listing. It's unbelievable, it's no better feeling, and I owe a lot to him. And I think that getting into the police department, like you were just saying, it's such a closely knit community. Like right now, I'm selling a house for. I should actually put the picture up on the podcast. I'm selling a house for probably one of the most famous 9/11 guys that there is. Wow. I don't know if you've probably seen the picture. He's laying over a guardrail with his helmet. Sure. In that picture, he had just brought out one of the last remaining people that were alive out of 9/11. And I'm selling his condo and helping him on a purchase right now. Yeah. It's the best feeling in the entire world. It really, we're not doctors, we're not saving the world, but like having the opportunity to do right by these people is really the best feeling.
It's an amazing feeling.
And I'm sure you've come across that too. Especially with all the people that you've represented over the years. You're doing an insane amount of closings.
It's very rewarding and very blessed.
It's a very rewarding feeling. A funny story that I had about us that I wanted to bring up was the story that, so when I first got my license, and this is just like showing how you go above and beyond for these people, right? Like not even taking a discount for this MIPD guy, but just you personally going above and beyond. This was one of the first deals that I did with you, and at the time I didn't really know anything. So they're like, what should you bring down, or what should I bring down to go sign the contracts? So this family was up from North Carolina. They had their dogs with them. They had everything in their car, and they didn't know what to bring with them to the contract signing. So I'm like, I don't know, bring a check or something, bring a debit card, credit card. So Asaf calls me. He's like, hey man, he's like, I'm with their clients here. They brought a credit card for their down payment. They can't use that. So in my head, I'm like, all right, well, what are they gonna do? I knew that they had like these 2 dogs that had like, they were both 3-legged dogs. These two people had like their 3-legged dogs with them, and so I'm like, all right, so it's a deal. Dad, like, what does that mean? And you're like, no. You're like, I'm gonna go take them to the bank. So in my head, I knew that they had the dog. You didn't even say anything about it, but you literally took these people in your car with their 3-legged dog, drove to Chase Bank, got the proper checks or whatever, certified checks, and came back, did the signing, and we closed in 45 days.
With the smile on their face, and they'll never forget it.
They'll never forget. They called me last week asking if I knew anyone that had a washer dryer. I don't know, go on Craigslist, but it's funny, like they're still calling me. But it's because you did such, above and beyond things, and that's why you built your success. Like, everyone's gonna have haters. Brian Karp sells, I keep bringing up his name, but he sells 150 houses a year. People are going to hate on him because he's doing so well. You are doing X amount of closings a year. If people don't know you, they see you as this larger than life kind of character. They don't know the hard work that you put in. They don't know everything that you've done to really get your business to this point unless you know you. Like you text me once a week or whatever, in the morning, have a great day, or work hard, like something motivating. People don't see that side of you. I think people just see the fact that you're cranking out so many closings and they're jealous. They don't realize how hard you worked to get to this point.
Major undertaking, but I feel very, very blessed and fortunate to have this opportunity.
Yeah. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about work-life balance. So you were one of the first people that has ever told me, I've had everyone on the podcast, everyone says they don't believe in work-life balance, it doesn't exist. Everybody besides basically Beth doesn't know of a work-life balance. When I first got my license and we would go out and do whatever, you always just say you need to find balance, you gotta have it. How have you found your work-life balance? How long did it take? And clearly, if you were working on the weekends, bringing your kids to the Coldwell Banker offices and all the other ones, you clearly didn't have it when you first got started.
I didn't have it. It took me until I was 37 years old to learn it.
I'm fucked.
But no, because I didn't have somebody educating me on it. Like, you have me and other people around you to try to help you. Yeah. I didn't have anybody help me with that. I live by it. For me to be on top of my game of life, if you will. I need to equally share time with my children, so I can be the best father possible. I have to take care of myself, because without your health, you're nothing. I need to make money because I have obligations and I like nice things. And whatever person I'm with, whether it be my wife or a girlfriend, whoever it may be, I also need to give her time because they need that time. So I need all those four things to have my perfection and balance, if you will. If I'm taking away from any of the other things, I'd be taking away from my children. I won't let that happen. Taking time away from being healthy, because without your health, you're nothing.
Yeah.
Taking time around my business and my financial obligations, or the person I'm with. I need those four things to be on top. Otherwise, I'm taking away from something that's very important to me.
Yeah. Did you see that? So, did you see that before you kind of realized this, and you kind of had this, you know?
I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And some people, you know, I help people with it on a daily basis that are 20 years old, 30, 40, 50, 60. Some people never have balance, ever. And although it took me 37 years to learn it, I'm blessed that I learned it.
Was it something that was it clicked, or was that when you had kids?
No, it was a life event.
Yeah.
A life event. Sometimes you have to go through life events,
Yeah.
you know, to learn. You know, everything isn't always peachy and rosy. You know, sometimes you have to get to the bottom to get back up to the top. And yeah, I went through a life event at 37 years old, and things came into perspective. I follow this method, and I couldn't be any happier.
Yeah. Would you say that your kids and your family are your why and your daily motivation?
Yes. My children are my motivation. I strive to be the best father I can be, to be the best man I could be, the best human being I could be, the best boss. I know where I came from. I know what it took to get to where I am today. I take nothing in my life for granted.
Yeah.
And I give everything I can, 100%, 10% of me. I want to make sure when I look back at my life that I left no stone unturned and I gave it my all.
Speaking of which, everything you do is literally, excuse me, I got a little frog in my throat. Everything you do is like 1,000%. You don't do anything half-assed. Like even this podcast, you know, we're gonna go viral, this, that, the other. You do everything 1,000%. So, you know, speaking of that, the Man of the Year thing, the Man of the Year award, you really, we talked to you when you were first thinking about doing it. You know, you finally decided to go forward and do it, and you don't half-ass anything. For those of you that don't know, Asaf ran for Man of the Year for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Raised $460,000. $460,000. That's not just taking something on. That's tremendous. It's not just taking something on and half-assing it. I think everybody saw really how hard you worked, all the hours that you were putting into it. You know, still spending time with your family. You know, work, everything. But I think everybody really, you know, was able to see how hard you worked on that project. How much money you were able to raise for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. It's tremendous. Like you really have my utmost respect for that, truly. And it's a motivating for everybody to see how hard you worked on it. So can you kind of shed a little bit of light into, you know, what that was, your decision to take that on, because that's not just something that, you know, you do.
Well, I was first of all, after the birth of my children, it's the absolute most amazing, rewarding, humbling thing I've ever been involved in my life. It changed my life. It changed my perspective of life. It educated me on just how blessed we are, on how health is true wealth. I was nominated for Man of the Year by a client of mine. I didn't know anything about it before I even accepted the nomination. I sat down with the person who nominated me and somebody from LLS, and I said, before I accept this nomination, I'd like to educate myself by speaking to a man who ran for Man of the Year and a woman who ran for Woman of the Year. I don't want to embarrass anyone. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah,
I don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to let LLS down. So they introduced me to two amazing people who, one of them ended up being my high school friend.
Really?
I know for 20-something years I ran
Wow.
for Man of the Year, an ultra-competitive, amazing guy, Eric Bensavegna, an amazing, passionate woman, Mary Jo White. I sat down with both of them to get some knowledge about it, and after leaving both of them, I accepted the nomination. I was blessed enough to start my team with both of them, both who ran in the past, and I put together what we called ourselves the Dream Team. In my opinion,
It really was.
In my opinion, we were the most amazing team in the history of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We had almost 72 amazing, passionate, like-minded individuals who truly, truly, truly went above and beyond to help our cause, our mission, which was to raise awareness, to raise vital funds necessary to inspire cures. Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is the largest voluntary health agency dedicated to blood cancer in the world.
Wow.
What I do for work is amazing. I love it. Very rewarding. But this was a next level of giving back.
I mean, how did you, so who gave you the ideas? I mean, so you did the big event at Ferrari, Maserati, Long Island. You did all these big fundraising events. You really, 460,000, just to put that into perspective, the runner-up, I think, raised 80,000? 70,000. So 460,000 compared to 70,000. You placed throughout the entire country.
Top 1%.
In the top 1% of the entire country. So it's just truly a remarkable thing, and it really must be. I couldn't even imagine the feeling of how rewarding it really felt for you. And I saw how hard you worked on it.
It was amazing. And you kind of touched on something that's important with respect to how, well, something I use all the time, I'm afraid to use all the time, is knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. Again, I went into this with zero experience, zero connection. So what I did was I aligned myself with the most amazing people possible.
Yeah.
I put together a team. My team had, I believe, 5, 6, or 7 men and women have already either won or ran for Men and Women of the Year.
Wow.
I spoke and sat with each and every one of them, whether it be in person, on the phone, WhatsApp, because one of them lives in Costa Rica, and they educated me on everything they did right and wrong. Mm-hmm. So it's like you sitting for an exam and me whispering every answer in your ear.
Yeah.
I knew exactly what to do to raise as much money as possible. And the rest was up to me and the people on my team to make that happen. And the Man and Woman of the Year, the 10-week campaign, we have to raise this money. So we raised that money in 10 weeks. But I prepared and planned for it 4 and 5 months before it even started. Yeah. So when it started, I was going 200 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. We already know what to do, how to get it. And again, it was all on my team. I'm beyond grateful for my team. Without the team, this would never be possible.
Yeah. You did a great job, and I think that you've gained millions of people's respect with it. You really worked your ass off. One thing I wanted to touch on before we kind of start to wrap this up is social media. So obviously, our business is a very big referrals business. You have like such a big Facebook following, and Charles mentioned it in the podcast you did with him too. You comment on everyone's stuff, so everybody that comments on yours, you're responding right back to them, which sometimes is like hundreds of people. Do you think that social media in our business is a huge tool for referrals and for getting business? How did you kind of build that? Was it just natural?
It took time. The way I look at it, if someone is taking the time out of their life to comment, I'm going to take the time out of my life to reply to them and be great for them, to let them know that I'm listening to them and I appreciate their feedback. It took time, just like anything else in life. Things don't happen overnight.
Yeah, of course.
It's all about consistency, and doing the right thing and integrity and honesty. But we live in a world where social media is very, very, very important. You see these people, these YouTubers, or never heard of them making millions of dollars through social media. Social media is the way. I mean, it's more so than the old traditional, putting an ad in a penny saver or whatnot.
It's funny you said that. We did. I was saying this last week. We did an event with like Beth, Jason Fenari, who's like a top producer panel, and I said that, and one of the gentlemen that were on the panel, I guess, like made his claim to fame as a penny saver. So I said that, and I'm like, yeah, social media, this, that, the other, and everyone looked at me like I had something written on my forehead.
Well, again, we have to be very successful. You have to adapt to the times.
Yeah.
Different times, different things are happening. And penny saving, I don't mean to call out but circulars was at one point, a big means of advertising. Today, social media, I mean, you could sit on your couch and go on social media without spending a penny and see, everything. Yeah. So to me, social media is very important.
Yeah. As we start to wrap up, one other question. Do you remember the story with Susan Hamlin from Exit, me and you? So me and Asaf were at Jason Fernari's broker. I guess that was when he first opened his office, right? Like the beginning of his office.
Yes.
And we're just sitting there talking, and it was me, him, and Susan. And a gentleman walks up to me and Asaf and Susan, and he was like, "Hey, can you take a picture?" So I think he's talking to me, Mr. Nobody, next to Asaf German and Susan Hamlin, who literally owns Exit, the broker. So I think, I go to reach for the phone, and he's like, no, like, miss, can you take the picture of me and these two guys? They're so well dressed. So poor Susan Hamlin, who I don't think knows me, has to take this picture of me and this guy. I just thought it was really funny. You are obviously one of the best dressed people that I know, and I have, among many things that I'm trying to model myself off of you and do my own thing, but dressing obviously is one of those things.
Thank you.
Good job. I appreciate it. You know what? You have to dress for success. That's it.
Yeah.
That's one of the first things you told me. Go invest in some nice clothes and look good, feel good, sell good.
You've done well. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you. So what is next for you? Is there anything you just want to close the year out, obviously on a good note, make sure everything goes well? Is there any big...
Well, I always want to finish off strong. What is next for me is I want to continue to educate myself. I want to continue to be the best father possible. I want to continue to be and learn, be the best attorney I could be, the best human being, the best boss. I want to continue to give back. And I'm going to start preparing on hopefully getting the next chapter of my life in order.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for any seasoned agents, any new agents? What can you tell somebody that's watching this right now in real estate?
Several things. One, always do the right thing. Always, always, always do the right thing, even when people are not watching. Everyone eventually will know who you are, what kind of human being you are, and how you work. When you're really good, people are going to want to do business with you. You'll get more business from it because they rather deal with you. You know you're honest. They know you'll get the job done. Always align yourself with the best people ever. Another phrase that I use all the time is, teamwork makes the dream work. That's one of the most specific and accurate sentences in our profession, because to have a successful real estate transaction incorporates the team. You could be the best salesperson ever. If the attorney doesn't do real estate, you're limited, if not screwed. I could be the best attorney ever. If the person conducting the financing isn't good, I'm limited.
Yeah.
So align yourself with the best of the best, local, specialized professionals. Always do the right thing. Always go above and beyond. Separate yourself from others, and just have integrity.
There it is. That's the best advice you're gonna get. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate everything you do for me, and
I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Everything you do for the team. So thanks for coming on.
Truly.
See you guys next week.